In Parshas Beshalach, everyone talks about Shabbos Shira, the incredible, miraculous splitting of the sea that occurred. Incredible event. You know, People take that for granted that it's incredible. So one time, a kid, he was learning with his father, and he asked his father, he's learning about the splitting of the sea, what is so miraculous? After all, God created the entire universe, every single body of water, every single sea, lake, river, stream, etc. If God created all of these bodies of water, it's quite simple for him to split one of the bodies of water, to split one river, to split one lake. It's not difficult. What's so impressive after all of the splitting of the sea? The Meom Loez, in his commentary in the beginning of Perek Tes Vav, Az Yashir, he has over 20 pages in Hebrew, 20 pages, describing in great detail 50 miracles that occurred by the splitting of the sea. Wasn't just you split the sea and open sesame. That's it. There were 50 unique, distinct miracles that occurred. 5-0. Meom Loez actually says anyone who reads about this, who researches this topic and studies it, will have more fear of God. We find, according to one opinion, that Yisro himself came to convert. Why? Because he heard about Kriyas Yamsuf, the splitting of the sea. So there's something very special about the splitting of the sea that we have to understand. Meom Loez continues and says, nowadays very few people know philosophy or properly. But Meom Loez says if you talk about Aristotle, philosophy, if Aristotle was around in the time of the splitting of the sea, he wouldn't be a denier anymore. He would believe in God. Someone who sees something like this sees the foolishness of all of these philosophical ideas, ideologies, which have no Torah basis. Anyone who witnessed the splitting of the sea saw God's divine intervention and focus on this entire world. It's an incredible idea. Obviously, time doesn't allow us to go through all of the over 20 pages that he has and the 50 miraculous miracles that occurred by the splitting of the sea. But listen to this amazing point. Rabbi Asher Weiss, in Minchas Asher, he relates in his introduction to his Sefer on Psachim, story that we briefly alluded to a little bit. A father was once sitting with his son on the night of the Seder, and he was describing these 50 miracles that happened at the splitting of the sea, as the Meom Loez discusses. We just quoted. The father was talking about the miracles, and his son said, why are we so amazed by the splitting of the sea? It's obvious. If Hashem created the sea, he could split it into two. What's the chiddush? It's miraculous. The father answered, let me tell you a story, a parable. One time there was an expert sculptor, and he sculpted a horse that was so realistic. We just went a few days ago to the American Dream. It's actually hashkacha pratis. How often do we see sculpted horses? It happened to have been that in the mall, we went by an area that had a sculpted horse. And I said, wow, I literally just learned about this. And now I'm passing a sculpted horse. I don't know if I ever passed a sculpted horse in my entire life. And here literally a day after I learned about this, I'm passing a sculpted horse. You can't make that up. Anyways, the story goes as follows.
When you say sculpted horse, I just Googled it. It's like a figure of a horse. That's what it
That's
is.
right. That's
Okay.
right. I also, by the way, I'll admit, I also Googled it because I'm not an expert with this art stuff. So I figured out the sculpt. I thought, what is this? Ice sculpting. I know the ice.
Yeah, yeah, same.
No, it's not ice. It's not ice. It's not ice. That stuff is also very fascinating, but it's not ice. It's made out of like a cement, ceramic, whatever
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
is made
got
out of, Kopanim, the horse looks so real. No one could tell that it wasn't real at all. No one could tell. So the sculptor, the guy who made the
it.
horse, what?
I never saw it. I didn't say anything about it.
You went to the American Dream?
Nope, never been.
Okay, well, if you go, you'll see that there's a sculpted horse somewhere in the mall. So the horse, it's around the stores, not by the entertainment wing. So the sculptor, what did he do? He put his horse outside on display for people to admire the beauty. A whole day passed, and then a whole other day passed. No one stopped to even look at his work. New
Right.
York, everyone's in a rush, everyone's rushing somewhere.
That's New Jersey, though.
Yeah, I know, but this incident didn't happen in New Jersey. Probably didn't happen in New York also. Whole thing
Oh,
is
he did.
made up. Okay.
Oh,
Anyways, finally, the sculptor approached a passerby, and asked him, "Why aren't you, sir, why aren't you stopping to look at this beautifully, geniusly sculpted horse? This beautiful work of art. Have you ever seen a
I don't
sculpture of
care.
a horse that is so realistic?" The guy responded, "This horse looks so real that no one is interested in looking at it. It looks like a regular horse. There are many other real horses around. You got to realize, hundreds of years ago, there were horses everywhere. Nothing to look at. It's like a car. Car is passing by. You gonna look at it? No, it's a regular car. Looks like a regular horse. Who's gonna stop to look at the thing?" Sculptor began thinking, "Oy, oy, oy. What did I waste so much time with this? I could have made a horse that isn't as lifelike and realistic." Excuse me. And I wouldn't have even had to have spent as much time learning and practicing the sculpting. A wise person approached the sculptor and told him, "Don't get discouraged. Take your sculpted horse and cut the thing in half, and then place it outside. Because a horse that looks real, that's also cut in half, that will draw people's attention because they for sure will realize that it's not a real horse once they see the thing is cut in half. They're going to say, wow, it looks so realistic, and yet it's not real." This reminds me of the wax museum. Similarly, explains the father to the son, if we would be on the spiritual level, to be moved and motivated by the very existence of the sea and all of the miraculous sights that we witness daily, such as Hanetzachama, Shkia, the rising of the sun, sunset, sunrise, sunset, Marabu Masech Hashem, all the vast creations and creatures that Hashem has created. Hashem wouldn't need to split the sea. But because we've come so accustomed to these miracles, we're no longer excited by them. There was a need for Hashem to split the sea in order to get us to notice these miracles. Like the Ramban says at the end of Parshas Bo, Hashem only needs to perform supernatural miracles in order so that we realize the regular miracles. We have to realize right now our ability to talk, to breathe, that is no less miraculous than the splitting of the sea, so to say. It's just that we're used to it because it's automatic, it's assumed. We have to realize how miraculous everything truly is. The sun shining beautifully outside right now. Look at this beautiful, beautiful sunny day. Sun's just coming right in.
I can't see it.
You don't need to see it. You know the sun's there. Look at on the floor. Look at the beautiful snow.
Whoa.
Yeah. What does the Torah say about snow? A lot of things. Miraculous.
What else?
Everything to function in this world.
I want to see a tree. I want to see a tree.
Miraculous. You want to see a tree? Go outside, see a tree.
No, I can't.
So then don't go outside. Eventually you'll go outside, you'll see a tree. Everything in this world, we say every single day in the first bracha of Shema, Ma Rabu Masecha Hashem. How awesome are your creations, Hashem? You ever go outside? You just look at ants? After all, Shlomo HaMelech, the wisest of all men, says, Leich el nimala otzel. Go look at ants, you lazy person. Ants, they're always working, they're always moving, they're always on the go. That's the idea over here. We have to realize all of these creations that Hashem made and how amazing they are. Study them, researching them. It's a form of Torah. You buy a good book on animals. You research it. You start to appreciate what's going on in this world. That's the Kriyas Yamsuf. The Meom Loez, and he begins describing each miracle. We obviously don't have time for all 50. The first miracle, he says, that happened by the splitting of the sea is the Anania covered. People, they know these clouds of glory. But what about the details? What exactly did these clouds of glory did? These clouds of glory surrounded the entire Jewish nation from all sides. There was a cloud on top of them to protect them, from all bad weather. If it was too sunny, you didn't need sunglasses. The cloud protected you. If there was rain, snow, winds, whatever it was, hail, guess what? You had a massive umbrella on top of you that was protecting you. You'll say, what about the desert? Sandy under their feet, snakes and scorpions. You didn't need to worry about that either. The whole land was flattened. No thorns, no thistles. They just walked right through. It wasn't muddy when they walked through the dry area when the sea split. Nothing. Totally protected. It was as if, explains the Meom Loez, they were on a ship. When you're on a ship, do you need to worry about what's under the ship? Doesn't matter at all. No burden. One of the clouds of glory went in front of them. It flattened. Let's say there was a Mount Everest in front of them, no problem. The thing was leveled. It was totally flat over there. The mountains. The whole thing was totally leveled. It leveled anything. Oh, no problem. No problem at all. Everything was totally leveled. Easy. Totally easy. This cloud actually went in front of them many days in advance in order to flatten everything and make the terrain very easy to walk through. At night, you'll say, how did they see? They didn't have electricity back then. That's because they had the Onon Eish. One of the clouds lit up for them. No problem. Second miracle that happened. Why would Paro and his servants chase after the Jews? They just sent them out. Why would they chase after them? The whole thing is illogical. Makes no sense. The Jews were 3 days in front of them, by the way. They were already traveling for 3 days. But when the Egyptians chased after them, they didn't get tired. even though they were running the whole time. Furthermore, what typically takes 3 days, they did in half the time. Now, this is an incredible insight because they weren't in cars, they were in chariots. They had a tremendous amount of people. And not only that, power went with them. Whenever a king or ruler travels, he doesn't just uh, go fast. You stop, you go easy. And he went very, very fast the entire time. He didn't rest at all. That itself is something to contemplate. Miracle number 3 is that the cloud that was light for the Jews, it was light for them, but it was dark for the Egyptians. This reminds me of the plague of darkness, of Choshech, Makas Choshech. It was special. It was only light for the Jews. And it would almost like freeze the Egyptians almost because it was so dark, similar to Choshech. Fourth miracle that happened, the Egyptians would shoot many arrows and throw many spears at the Jews. You know what happened? It was a miracle. The clouds miraculously collected all of the spears and all of the arrows that were thrown. Now keep in mind, there were 300 times the amount of Egyptians and every single Jew there. If the Egyptians, if all of them would take a clump of dirt and throw it, the Jews would be buried alive. If they would throw it at all the Jews. That's how many more Egyptians there were than Jews. So now imagine when all of the havoc that would have happened if all of the spears and arrows were thrown at the Jews. How deathly that could have been. It's a miracle that was collected. So that is a sample of some of the miracles that the Meom Loez relates. Those are the first 4. I invite you, encourage you, and I give you the head there to learn the other 46 miraculous miracles that occurred, which is in the Meom Loez in the beginning of the 15th parak. And you could probably get your hands on an English Meom Loez also. Fascinating and very relevant to this parsha. Any questions, comments, and anything that we just did today whatsoever?
Sorry I was late. I was helping my wife to the car with her luggage.
No problem.
Apologize.
It's always tomorrow.
Hashem.
Yeah.
This going to be on YouTube and the one that I missed on Monday?
Monday. I don't know if I don't think I put anything
Was it?
up. No, I didn't
Third-
record anything Monday. I didn't record anything.
Well, last Thursday and when did I travel? I traveled Sunday. All right, so